Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really getting into something intense. It's not just a story, it's more like a blueprint. We're plunging into the source material around David Goggins, the ex-Navy SEAL, the ultra-endurance guy.
Yeah.
The one who basically wrote the book on mental toughness.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at his journey, it's pretty staggering. It's not just, oh, he ran far. It feels like a manual for, well, completely changing yourself.
Absolutely.
I mean, going from overweight, struggling, to holding world records, the core idea seems to be that most of us, well, we're barely scratching the surface of what we can actually do.
That's exactly it. And this isn't just about, physical feats like running or pull-ups. It's deeper. It's about deliberately, sometimes brutally restructuring your own mind. So our mission for you, the listener, is to really pull out the practical tools Goggins forged,
Yeah.
the specific steps he took to unlock this potential that, frankly, most people don't even believe they possess. We want to see the mechanism behind it all. Okay, let's unpack this.
Right. And to really get it, you have to start at the beginning, don't you?
Yeah.
Because his early life,
The contrast is everything. You have to understand where he came from.
the sources paint a really grim picture. His childhood, it was filled with just relentless physical abuse from his father.
Terrible stuff.
And on top of that, you have extreme poverty, blatant racism, constant fear, violence. He describes being terrified, doing poorly in school, feeling incredibly insecure.
Mm-hmm. And it's so important to pause right there because those experiences, they plant deep seeds, right?
Yeah.
Fear, self-doubt.
For sure.
And honestly, most people facing that level of trauma might internalize this narrative of, being a victim. And who could blame them?
Absolutely understandable.
But the Goggins eventually made this pivotal choice. He refused to let that define him. What's fascinating is how he reframed it.
How did he do that?
He took all those scars, the fear, the shame, things that would normally weigh you down like anchors, and he flipped it. He started using them as proof, really irrefutable evidence of his own baseline strength. Like, I survived that, so I must be strong enough for whatever comes next.
Wow. So the pain became the power source.
Exactly. That deep well of suffering became the fuel for this relentless drive we see later. Not the thing that crushed him, but the thing that ignited him.
That's a huge shift. And for anyone listening, it suggests that maybe the parts of our past we hate the most could actually be our strongest motivators if we choose to see them differently.
It's all about that internal choice. Changing the story from, I'm broken because of this, to, I was forged by this, and nothing now will be as hard as what I've already overcome. That's powerful.
Okay, so that mindset shift, that's the foundation. Which brings us to maybe his most famous idea, the core principle behind all the crazy achievements. The 40% rule.
Ah, yes, the 40%.
It sounds simple, right?
Right.
He basically says that when your mind tells you you're done, totally exhausted, mentally fried, can't possibly do more, you actually only used about 40% of your real capacity.
40%. Think about that. There's a whole other 60%
Yes.
just sitting there.
So where is it? What's hiding that other 60%?
Well, the sources get into the neuroscience a bit. Your brain's primary directive is survival, keeping things stable, homeostasis.
Right, keep you safe.
Exactly. So the second you hit real discomfort, physical or mental alarm bells start ringing, often from the limbic system, the amygdala, it screams, stop, conserve energy, danger. It's a protective mechanism.
Makes sense. Keeps us from, running ourselves into the ground completely.
But that's 60%. It lies behind that wall of discomfort, behind that safety alert your brain throws up to make life, easier.
But Goggins' whole thing is about consciously pushing past that alert.
Pretty much. It's a sustained effort to override that default safety mechanism. Every single time you push just a little bit past that point where your brain says, I'm done, you're fundamentally recalibrating your limits.
You're expanding what you believe is possible.
You are literally expanding what is possible for you.
Okay, but how does this apply outside of, say, running 100 miles? Like in a normal job or studying?
Great question. Let's take a work scenario. You're on a huge project, maybe working late for days. You hit that wall, decision fatigue sets in, and your brain just wants it over. It's good enough, just send it.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
That's your 40% moment in the office. The 40% rule there isn't about staying awake longer necessarily. It's about resisting the urge to settle for good enough when you know a real breakthrough needs another hour or two of deep, uncomfortable thinking.
Or pushing back in a tough negotiation instead of taking the easy way out.
Exactly. Or refining that creative idea one more time even when you feel totally drained. The suck in that context is cognitive load, maybe emotional exhaustion, not burning muscles.
Okay, so it's about overriding the mental stop sign, not just ignoring physical pain. That's a crucial distinction.
It is.
But hang on, this raises a really important point. When we talk about Goggins and pushing past limits, especially the physical stuff, isn't there a real danger here, like promoting burnout or actual injury?
Absolutely. That's a valid concern.
How does someone listening who isn't aiming to be a SEAL apply this safely? How do you callous the mind without ending up injured or completely burned out?
Right. And the sources are clear. This isn't a green light for recklessness. It's not about going from 0 to 100 overnight. That will break you.
Okay.
The philosophy is about consistent, deliberate exposure to manageable discomfort. Introduce the friction gradually, you adapt. Introduce it all at once, you snap.
Manageable discomfort. That sounds less scary.
Which leads us right into the first practical tool, callousing the mind. The analogy is straightforward, right? Rub your hands raw, eventually you get calluses, tougher skin.
Makes sense.
The mental version is actively seeking out those small, manageable points of friction in daily life. Maybe it's taking a cold shower for a few minutes. Maybe it's finally making that awkward phone call you've been putting off.
Or tackling the hardest thing on your to-do list first thing in the morning.
Exactly. Those small acts of self-inflicted, non-catastrophic discomfort are the sandpaper, as you put it earlier. They're training drills.
Training the brain not to freak out at the first sign of difficulty.
Precisely. Goggins reframes pain. It's not the enemy, it's a training partner. Something to be used, leveraged. Each small win teaches your brain that stress isn't just a signal to quit, it's a stimulus for adaptation. You learn to stay calm while uncomfortable.
Okay, so you accept pain as part of growth. You seek out manageable friction. But you need to stay honest with yourself about it, right? Keep pushing.
Which brings us to the accountability mirror.
Ah, the mirror. This one sounds intense. Here's where it gets really interesting. Because this tool seems designed to just eliminate excuses.
Completely.
He talks about this daily ritual, non-negotiable, standing in front of his bathroom mirror, which he'd covered in sticky notes.
And on those notes,
His weaknesses, his failures, the specific things he had to do that day to fix those failures. Brutal honesty.
the power is in that daily confrontation. It's one thing to vaguely know your flaws. It's another thing entirely to force yourself to look in your own eyes, read those flaws out loud, and state the exact uncomfortable actions you will take today to address them.
No hiding.
None. It cuts through self-delusion. When you have to stare at a note that says you're slacking on your workouts or you avoided that hard conversation again, it keeps you grounded. It connects directly back to that 40% rule by constantly forcing you to confront where you're stopping short.
So the mirror provides the brutal honesty and the daily action plan. Okay, makes sense. But then what? You've got the plan. You know it's going to be uncomfortable. How do you actually do it when things get tough? We need those active mindsets he used in the heat of the moment, like embrace the suck.
Right. Classic military phrase, but he really owns it.
What does it mean practically, though? Beyond just sounding tough.
It means accepting the pain, the difficulty, the sheer unpleasantness as an inevitable part of the process. You stop wasting mental energy wishing it felt better or hoping it would go away.
You just accept, okay, this feels awful right now.
Yes, and you lean into it. Whether it's the physical pain of a long run or the mental drain of, say, studying complex material late at night when your brain is screaming for distraction.
It's rolling, yeah.
Exactly. Embracing the suck means acknowledging that feeling, yep, this sucks, and then choosing to continue anyway. You sit with the resistance instead of running from it.
So by deliberately choosing the hard path, you're rewiring something.
You are. You're changing the neural association. Effort and resistance start to feel less like stop signals and more like growth happening here signals. The sucky part is the growth zone.
Okay, embrace the difficulty.
Yeah.
Then there's the next level, maybe his most aggressive sounding concept, taking souls.
Yeah, that phrase definitely gets attention.
It sounds like it's about crushing competitors, proving doubters wrong with a vengeance.
And people often hear it that way initially. Revenge, spite.
But the sources suggest something deeper, right? It's not really about the other person.
That's the critical piece. It's not primarily external. The real soul you're taking is the soul of your own former weaker self. The self that believed the limits, the self that quit at 40%.
Okay, so it's about internal dominance over your own perceived limitations.
Precisely. It's about building such undeniable internal proof of your capability and resilience through sheer effort and exceeding expectations that no external criticism or internal fear can touch you anymore.
So even if everyone else quits or fails around you, you have this deep earned certainty that you can continue. You've proven it to yourself repeatedly. You control your limits, not your doubts, not other people. You're taking the soul of limitation itself.
Wow. Okay, that reframes it completely. So we've traced this journey from intense trauma through developing these mental tools, these mindsets, building this internal powerhouse. It really does feel like a blueprint for self-mastery.
It is.
And the central theme is always that greatness or unlocking potential, whatever you want to call it, it lies on the other side of suffering you choose to endure. That's the core message. Unshakable strength doesn't come easy. It comes from consistently applying these ideas, embracing discomfort, confronting flaws with that brutal mirror honesty, and just refusing to quit when your brain hits that 40% panic button.
Do that consistently.
And you forge a kind of strength that external obstacles, or even your own internal doubts, can't really break.
So, wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening right now?
Yeah, what's the takeaway?
Well, the next time you hit that wall, you feel frustrated, exhausted, that mental resistance kicks in, and that little voice screams, I'm done, this is too hard.
We all hear that voice.
Remember the challenge from this deep dive. Remember Goggins' core message.
You're in charge of your own mind.
Exactly. You are in charge of your own mind. Don't stop at 40%. Go looking for that other 60%. Maybe just 5 more minutes of focus today. Maybe it's 1 more rep.
Choose the struggle.
Choose the struggle that builds the strength. That's the challenge.